All right, welcome back to the barrel boat build. We are up to episode 3.14 now. Last one was 3.1. We're just going to keep getting further and further along that number line. It's going to go in smaller increments from here on out for a while, though. So 3.1, 3.14, get smaller and smaller. So, what I'm doing here, I'm taking some sticks. I just found some sticks outside on the real boat. They'll have to be probably a little bit bigger than these sticks. They'll be like proportional, 12 times bigger in each dimension. So I have to find some trees, but there's trees all over the place in South Carolina. I've been down there. I've seen them. There's like trees everywhere. So I'll just find some trees, cut cut the little elbows, I guess, the little places where the branches come off of the tree. It's nice to find somewhere there's like a 90-degree angle between two different branches. So you'll have the main branch and then two branches coming off at 90. And then I kind of put them upside down on there so the two branches that stick off are upside down, pointing down towards the deck. And that'll give some extra stability. So here I started carving up the bark off of them. I guess when I do that in reality, I'll have to find like a draw knife to carve all the bark off of them. I saw somebody that made a draw knife. It was pretty cool. You just take a regular knife and you stick the end of it into a stick, a handle. You kind of pound it in there, and then you just use that handle and the handle of the knife, and you pull on it, and it's a draw knife. So I'll probably do that, the rednecky version of the draw knife, and just carve off all the bark. Right on these little ones, not too bad. It takes, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to do one. I do a lot of this like pulling the knife towards myself. I was doing that at school the other day, and one of the students told me, "Hey, be more safe. Don't don't pull the knife towards yourself." And I was like, "Okay, I'll be more safe." But you can see I'm not being more safe. I still pull the thing towards my hand. It's hard though to get it like when you're at the end of the stick and you're trying to like get that stuff off. It's really tough to go away from yourself with it. So I set it up. I put my little guy there next to it and to see about how tall do I want it to be, and I marked out some notches so I can notch out. Oh, and here comes George coming by to say hi. She's not really interested in the whole barrel boat build. Neither is Piper. Neither of the cats really care too much about it. She was like, "You're in my way. That's how I get up to the seat, my window seat." So she was kind of mad at me for being in the way. Anyways, I notch out the notches so that it'll like attach to the frame with a nice notch, and then I'll probably attach that as well with some glue and some lag bolts or some screws, maybe some thickened boat epoxy. I've seen a lot of people use that when they're making boats. I want those logs to be not super thick, right? Because if you get more than like a 5 inch diameter log, it starts to get pretty heavy. And they need to be dried out too, because so they don't crack up. So I'll have to find those right away. Find the logs either dried out already or find the raw ones and kind of let them season for a year or two while you're waiting to cut them up. And then here I got them all set up and ready, and I decided to cut the ends off of them to make them about the right size so that I didn't have to chop all the bark off of all those other ones too. So that was one thing that I did. I took the finished ones and I tried to do it with a pencil to mark out like how much to cut off of each one of those other ones. Well, I guess I'm still working on that first one that I shaved or that I peeled. Man, hurry up with that one, man. Those it takes so long to peel them. I need to come up with a better method of peeling those logs. I mean, right here. See, I'm going right towards my hand with that knife. And I have a sharp blade, right? Dangerous. But, I'm a professional. I'm not worried about little cuts on your hand and stuff. That's no big deal. And there I'm cutting it with the saw using the. That's a little safer method than trying to saw the board. But notching was kind of a pain. I got a little Dremel tool, and I went and got that out too because that makes it a little easier than trying to do the whole notches with the knife. That took a while, but I got them to fit real nice. That piece that I'm working on right there, I finally got it set up, and it fits on there. It notches in 3 spots onto that thing. It's a little too tall right now. I end up cutting off some off at the top of it to make it fit a little better. But it's a nice fit on the frame. And now I have 4 more to do. I'm looking at them like, oh my gosh, I got 4 more of those things to do. All right, I can do 4 more of those. That's not too bad. But I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint the finish on the frame before I peel the rest of those logs off. So, hey, get out of the way. Don't let that spray get on you. You gotta go with the wind when you're spraying outside. And stand on the upside of the wind. Kind of like the opposite of when you're hunting, right? When you hunt, you wanna be on the downside of the wind. When you spray paint, you wanna be on the upside. So remember that. Hunt down, spray paint up. It's a classic uh, classic thing that you have to remember. Hunt down, paint up. And everybody knows that, right? You learn that when you're like 4 or 5 years old. I don't know exactly what the finish is going to be on the actual boat. I'll go down there and talk to some boat builders. There was a really cool boat building uh, place right next to one of the fish camp restaurants that we like to go to down there. And there, off the top of that little model boat, it had like a little cabin on the top, and I took that off, and there was 3 screw holes. I just wanted to be able to fit the little model boat up closer into the frame. So I took the little topper off of there, and I had to seal up those holes. So I grabbed a little thing of silicone that I got and put some silicone over the 3 holes so it won't get water inside the little motor battery compartment. That worked pretty good. Just that I wanted to test the boat out, but I had to let that dry for like 24 hours before I could test it out. So at the very end of this video, you'll see the test once that's dry and I got the rest of this stuff figured out. My next step, I'm thinking about like, where does each one of these logs go and how much am I going to cut off of them? That's where I got the Sharpie out. You can see the mark with the Sharpie a lot better. I got those 4 out. That's going to be the one that holds the helm, the steering wheel. Cutting the big chunks off makes it a little bit easier to get the bark off. And I'm thinking, man, how do I get this bark? I don't want to do this all again. But I see some guys on YouTube, they just touch the stick with the knife and it cuts the bark off. It works. You just touch the knife to it, bam, the bark is off. Bam, again, 3 times it works. No problem, right? This is amazing. I was so excited. This 4th one, I touched it, and I couldn't get the bark to come off just by touching it, so I had to do this one by hand too. So 3 out of 5, I got the bark to come off just by touching it with the tip of the knife. That was a nice, easy way to go. This 5th one, man, what a pain. I gotta go through this whole process again. And like normal, right? I'm cutting sometimes away from myself like this, and then sometimes towards myself like that. So, not probably the best practice be putting on a YouTube channel where I'm trying to show people how to do things. Don't cut towards yourself, man. Even my students who are like teenagers, they were concerned. They were when we were doing this project in school, they were like, "Don't cut towards yourself, Wallace. You're gonna cut yourself." Like Autumn told me that. Ami told me that. Lots of people in that class told me that. But do I listen? Not really. Got one notched out. I'm gonna notch out these other ones. I had to figure out like where they went, which one goes where. I placed them over there in the positioning, and then I started notching each one individually out. Notching this guy out in the outside edge, like in a little 40, little halfway through the log notch, so that when I put the bolt through that, I'll have the back end I can bolt on. There again, pulling the knife towards myself. I hope the police don't get on me for that. But it's a dangerous process. Be careful doing that. I'm trying to get this to be the same height. I want to get a basic notch, right? I'm not getting it exact right off the bat. I just want to get the basic notch. And right here, pull it right towards yourself, and bam, right there, right into the finger. Sliced it open. You can see on my face, it looks like it hurts. There's a little drop of blood on there. So I went to go clean it up. Right? That coming back a little bit later, you can see the little typical carpentry. Just put some paper towels on it, hold it till it stops bleeding, put a band-aid on it, and then get back at it and pull the knife towards your hand again. It's like I was doing. Now it still hurts. It's healed up now, but man, and it just kept bleeding and bleeding. It was so hard to get down to stop bleeding. I was a little more like keep the fingers away, but I kept pulling the knife towards myself. It was a little tender working right after that too. And that was the last one that I shaved off too, and I ended up breaking one of the little sticks off of that little stick. No, I didn't break that one. I broke one of the sticks off of the other ones. That one ended up being okay. When I do the actual one, I'm hoping to find all 5 posts or all 4 outside posts with 2 nice thick 45 or 2 nice thick 90-degree coming off from each other branches that might take some searching, but once you find them, right? You found them, they're there. I like this cool looking log. It's got these funky shapes to it. And pretty much every other barrel boat build I've seen, they use 2x4s for the railings. I'm thinking 2x4s are just not very pretty. Just get the same look over and over, like it's a box, like it's a halfway framed thing. I thought if it had this natural log, kind of like a log cabin look on a boat, I thought, how cool would that be? So I do the same thing there, pull the knife towards myself. Right after you cut yourself, man. What are you doing? Yelling at this guy, and it's me. There, I finally got the little Dremel tool out with the little cutting blade. It works pretty good. It makes a little bit of dust. And just mixed it up. Use the saw, use the Dremel blade. Notch those out already. I still got 5 more to notch out. I think I videoed all of this notching. So I'm gonna put on some tunes for a minute and let you guys continue watching the notching, and I'll come back at the end of this notching and gluing. I guess maybe I glue them up on this part too, but I'll come back and start talking again in a little bit. I'll play some tunes for a minute.
Thank you.
Well, there you go with some tunes. When I got to this point, my fingers started bleeding again, so I started kind of doing the old Thurman Merman bloody brown pickle method on my post. I tried to shave some of that brownness off of there. And those tunes were from the Muset Hedges and Hedgerows. All right, that's it for now. I'm gonna let my actual video talk. We drove out to the Rocky Mountain Arsenal to check out the buffaloes out here. You can see some of them out the window. You see them pretty good. Colors are all bright yellow. And there's one really close to us right here. Big one. Looks like he's munching on some grass. Lots of people trying to watch the buffaloes out here. Mouth is red. Well, made it back from the Rocky Mountain Arsenal Wildlife Preserve where they got the buffaloes and the deer. We saw a bunch of buffaloes and deer. Gave my fingers some time to heal up so I don't oh, pull a brown pickle all over these barrel boat pieces. And it tended to work out. I didn't have any more bleeding through. It's still not healed up. And now it's healed up, but at this point it still wasn't healed up enough. It's still bleeding a little bit into the band-aid, but I had it on tight enough. Using that same old uh, CA glue with the CA glue spray that activates it. Works really well. Got the last of the pieces on there. Got them all uh, adjusted. I added another 2x4 to hold the other leg of that last piece that I put on up there to have something to secure that middle part on. And I'm sure that's something that I'm gonna have to do several times on the actual boat is put some extra bracing in there, not only to help hold those pieces up, but to help hold the floorboards on that don't have a like an end where the log kind of sticks down and stops it from having an end of the board to attach to. And then I went ahead and put some regular polyurethane on. Like I said, I don't know. I'm probably not going to use regular polyurethane when I do the actual boat build. It'll be whatever they tell me to use. I need to start researching that because I start putting this thing together here in a couple years. I got to be ready. But I wanted it to at least be kind of watertight when I try this out because I don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to sink? Am I going to throw it in the water and it just kind of sits there? Is it going to float real good? I don't know. That's my next step after I get these all coated to attach the boat to the bottom and then see what happens. Right? Put it in the water, take it back out to the lake, see what happens. So I didn't have a lot of time to say, but that was Muse Tet, the music from earlier, Muse Tet, Hedges and Hedgerows album. It's one of the only music that I have permission, and it's awesome. So it's amazing to have good music and have permission to use it in a YouTube video. So you'll probably hear that a lot in these upcoming videos, unless I get some permission on some other music. Okay, so I got the boat tied on to the model with a little piece of rope. I'm going to take it in this little tub, do a float test, make sure it floats, and then we'll take it over to the lake and drive it around and see how it drives, if it floats. So let's try floating it first. You want to check it, see if it floats, Piper? She doesn't care. Alright, here we go. First time model in the water. Alright. Looks like the motor. Looks like a lot of the boat, the green boat, is underwater. But I sealed it up real good. I took the top off and put some silicone in the two little holes that's left over. So it should do it. I'm gonna go take a shower now. I'm already in the shower. I already got my bathrobe on. And then we'll try this boat out at the lake when it warms up a little bit. All right. See you at the lake, model boat. All right, back out at the lake, the same spot. It's The water's a lot clearer this time. Not so much algae or whatever that was in there. But brought the boat out. Put a fresh new battery in it. Alright, so here we go. Trying not to get wet. The exact same spot. What he's thinking. Come back. Oh, the live well's filled up. It's not even that wavy, and it's totally sunk. At least up to the deck. Well, it works even though it's sunk. The real boat hopefully is not like this. I think makes me think of a few things. Maybe on the real boat I will do 4 barrels instead of 3. Check these and see if these barrels are filling up with water. Can't get to them right now with put them on pretty tight. But even though it's sinking, it rolls around pretty good. Pretty heavy compared to this little bitty boat. We just need some extra flotation under the model part. But it works. It's gonna sink even more once I put a bunch of more stuff on it, so I might have to come up with some way to make it float a little more. Some extra. Maybe some little air-filled tube that goes around it. Little plastic tube goes around filled with air. Like a little airbag type of thing. Might do it. But I think for the real boat, 4 barrels instead of 3 will make a big difference. But it's cute. Let's go one more little run. The diverters seem to keep the front end up a little bit. Oh, I'm going out of the camera. Come back to the boat. Super awesome. Definitely needs more flotation for the model, at least the real one. 1 extra barrel on each side should give adequate flotation. The ones I've seen are generally 3 or 4 barrels on each side. This is already getting long enough, just a model where it could almost have another barrel on there, just as it is. So definitely 4 barrels for the actual boat on each side. And that'll give it more stability to less trim differences if you got that extra barrel on there. Alright, I think that's it for playing with the boat for now. It's a little too sinky to keep playing until I get some extra flotation under it. But that was fun. Next, the extra flotation and lots of more fanciness to make this more fancy. Maybe a better system to tie this boat on, so it comes on and off pretty easy now, but something where I can just slip it in there, pop it in, put that extra little flotation piece on there. Maybe the extra little flotation piece actually holds the boat in. How's that? It's pretty cool. Alright, that's it for now. This thing goes about as fast as a math person can come up with a metaphor for speed. But it'll get faster. It'll get better. Alright, enjoy. It was a cloudy day. Enjoy the cloudiness of Colorado on this cold boat testing day. See y'all later.